Hi, Year 11. Tonight, I'd like to go over the polygon of forces, the graphical method of doing the polygon of forces, and the background information on it is this diagram here is a space diagram, similar to this one here because it shows all the space. It shows the eye bolt and how it's anchored there. But this diagram here is called a free body diagram, and this only shows the forces that are acting. And you could be asked to just do a free body diagram of a series of forces. Now, what I'm going to do is just show you this method that I've already done here. I'll just go over that. And then I'll start with this force and just show you how it doesn't matter which force you start with. You'll always get the same answer if you're finding the equilibrant and the resultant from a series of coplanar concurrent forces. The way that I always use to do a force polygon is using Bose notation. Lots of people don't use Bose notation, but I always find it helpful. And one of my Year 12 students, who's an excellent student, she's found that it's really handy when she's doing vectors in advanced maths. And this is how it works. So you put a capital letter between each force and you read it clockwise. And so I've put A between those two forces, and then B between those two, and then C between those two. So this force here is AB, the tail of the force is A, and the head of the force is B. This force here is BC, and this force here is CA. Now, you don't have to do it this way. This is just a method of doing this particular problem. But you definitely won't be asked this in the HSC. It's just a method of doing this polygon of forces. And it's particularly handy when we do trusses in Year 12. So the first thing that you've got to do is you've got to determine a scale. Now, I've set up this idea of how to get the appropriate scale. So you make the largest force, which is 35 kilonewtons here, between 30 and 100 millimeters. Now I've made this scale here, 1 millimeter equals 1 kilonewton. But you could make this scale here, 35 kilonewtons is equal to 70 millimeters, depending on how much space you've got to do your force diagram. Now, the idea with this is that you've got to get a force diagram that won't fit in between your finger and your thumb. If you can do a force diagram that fits in there, it's too small. So the idea is to make your force diagram between 30 and 100 millimeters for the largest force. So I'll start with this force here, and I'll just go over that, and then I'll do this one in red so you can see that you get exactly the same answer. It doesn't matter which force you start with. So the first thing you do is that you put a capital letter between two forces, and it doesn't matter where you start. So I've put A there, B, and C around here. And then I'm going to use this scale here. So you get your set squares, and we're going to start with the center here. Now, make sure that you use the space diagram that's given to you. Don't start doing a force polygon away from it because it's much more time consuming and it's much more difficult. Use all of the forces that are provided, and all of your diagrams will be to scale. So I'm going to set this one up. So this is 30 kilonewtons, so that'll be 30 millimeters. Now this scale is different here because I photocopied this, so it won't work out. So I've just marked there 30 millimeters, and this force here is CA. So you put little c, little a there. And then the next force that you come to going clockwise is AB, and it's got to go through A. So we're going to set the set square up on that angle, and we're going to transfer that angle using, you just put a straight edge up against the other side, and then this is force AB, so it's got to go through A there. And so you draw a line up there, put your sense on it, and then you see that it's 20 kilonewtons, so that you mark this at 20 millimeters, and so you mark it there, and then this force here is AB, so you put little b there. The next force that you come to is BC. It's got to go through B there, and so I'm just going to transfer this angle. So it goes through B. Then you just draw that up there. That's 35, so that'll be 35 millimeters. So you mark 35 millimeters there, and this is force BC. So you put a little C there. Now the force that joins C to C is the equilibrant. That's the one that will balance all these forces. And the force that goes in the opposite general direction is the resultant. And the way that I remember that when I was your age is that the first two letters in my name are RO, and I remember the resultant goes in the opposite general direction. So then you just simply measure this distance, and then it'll be 40 millimeters. And so therefore it's 40 kilonewtons magnitude. You get your protractor, put your protractor on there, and we're getting that angle there. That works out to be 57 degrees there. And make sure that you do a nice, neat diagram like this, and put your sense on it, and put your point of application. So there's four things that you have to specify to define a vector. It's magnitude, sense, direction, and point of application. And the equilibrant is identical, except it has the opposite sense. Now let me show you how to do it, starting with a different force. And I'll do this in red. Make sure all your diagrams are done in pencil. Don't use ink like I'm using here. So this will be 35 millimeters. So I just mark in 35 millimeters there. So that's 35 there. And that force will be BC. So you just mark BC there. Now the next force that we come to is CA. It's got to go through C. You set your set square up on that, and then move it, transfer that angle. Now we know it goes off to the left because of the sense of that. I just draw it through there. That'll be 30 long. So I just mark 30 there, and that will be CA. So that point there will be A. Now the next force that we come to is AB. It's got to go through A. We set our set square up again, and then put it up against the straight edge, and then go through A there, and then we measure that, and of course it hopefully will go on there, and that is, which it does. And so that force there is B. Put your sense on it, put your sense on that. And so the force that closes, and when you join two points, make sure you put your pencil on one point, move your set square up to it, and then just draw that there. Now we measure from there to there, and it should be right on 40, which it is, and we've got exactly that answer there. Make sure that you know that the equilibrant goes in the same general direction. This is going anti-clockwise, so the equilibrant will go down and the resultant will go in the opposite direction to the other forces on the force polygon. Now, at university, they will probably not use graphical methods, but I always encourage it because it's the easiest way to get marks in an exam. You're given 10% error or leeway or tolerance in an exam. So if the answer is 100 newtons, we will accept 95 to 105 as the range with a graphical solution. So it's worthwhile using graphical methods, and you've got to practice this to get good at it. At university, they will use components to find the resultant and equilibrant of these forces so that they get an analytical answer. Okay, so I hope you understand that and make sure that you practice it.